Welcome to yoga practice. Today we will play just a tiny bit into the change of season, but it's coming slowly, and for that reason I will focus more on the grounding effect that we might like to visit or work with in this time of the year. I have prepared my usual blanket that's for knee comfort, head comfort, neck perhaps, and I've placed 2 blocks down. While you really only need one to practice with, our starting posture might require a bit of support. So having said that, our starting posture is lying down on the back, and when you get there, I would ask you to try and see if it works to come into Supta Konasana. So that is when you do lie down, just making sure head and neck are comfortable. I will tuck a little bit of my blanket underneath the neck to make it even more comfy. And I will grab my 2 blocks. My feet are on the floor, and I'm now letting the knees roll out to the side. Please play with this. So before you get too comfortable in it, perhaps slide your feet a bit further away, draw them a bit closer in, and see how that all resonates. Not just within the hip joint, but also in the pelvis, lower back, legs perhaps. So if you enjoy a bit of support, because we will stay here for a few minutes, you might place blocks or else underneath your knees that can give you a bit more support. Feel free to change that support. So over the time of the rest here, you could bring your blocks further away from the side, and with that come slightly deeper. You might also change the height of the blocks, but for now, becoming comfortable first. You might feel that there's a little bit happening within your pelvis, and see if you can find the positioning for the pelvis and your back to be comfortable. You might now relax your arms to either side of your body. And then perhaps come into a mudra. If you need to have a look, I've stepped up to the camera for you to see what the mudra looks like. It's simple. We're touching the tip of the thumb together with that of the ring finger, but leaving the other 3 fingers deliberately extended. It doesn't have to be overextended in a relaxed way, but those fingers remain long. And then perhaps steadying your gaze towards the ceiling, maybe closing your eyes. As you arrive here, we are embarking into a slightly cooler season at this point. We're moving from quite an extended summer into autumn. While today the sun is still shining, it definitely feels a bit cooler. And with the change that occurs with that change of season, in particularly autumn, where nature is letting go, yet we're still harvesting some of the fruits of summer, quite literally. Those things that we harvest at this time, some of this will be preserved. Other things we're still enjoying from summer to have right now. And whatever we are feeding ourselves with, whatever we put on or into our bodies, is actually that makes us up. So with that, it is also a time of the year of deep connection to nature. As you rest with the mudra and in your reclined position. Take a few deeper breaths now, just to experience what the mudra feels like. You might feel a loop of energy. You might feel that the breath finds a different direction. You might feel more present within your body, or have time to experience yourself in the body. This mudra can also assist with better posture. Has the potential to reduce stress and lower the blood pressure. It is a downward flowing energy that we're creating with this mudra. So it also could work with the elimination from the body, and can instill a sense of security. There might be one or the other aspect of what I just shared that resonates with you. Perhaps you can even feel the impact of this mudra. Noticing your personal experience. What is it that you experience the most at this point? A different direction for your breath. A sense of really being in your body. The safety and security I described, by feeling more grounded. Perhaps you experience this differently, or have multiple of those sensations occur. This is Prithvi Mudra. Taking a couple of deeper breaths. And as the breath begins to deepen, release the mudra from your hands. Maybe move through the fingers, hands, and wrists. You could then remove any support from under your knees and help the legs to come up so your feet are landing on the floor. The feet might widen in their stance, and you could let your knees roll inward. Perhaps there's a subtle release and counteraction to be felt as the knees are falling in. There's a subtle inward rotation. And you might also feel that in your back body. Then let your knees drift apart, lengthening your left leg out and starting to roll with the help of the right foot on the ground to your left hand side. Extending your legs out long, and if it's available, also both arms up over the head. If that's not possible, you can modify and keep one arm by your side or where comfortable. As you might move your extended legs behind you, your extended arms behind you, you're starting to expand into a half moon shape or banana shape. You might add a little squeeze into the buttocks muscles and bring your hips further forward. And aim to do the same with heart center or sternum. In that extension now, take a deeper breath in and then flop onto your back like jelly on a plate and let everything go. Now stepping your left foot onto the ground and using it to roll over onto your right hand side. Again, if available, extending both arms over the head, both legs out long, and again bringing the legs behind you, the extended arms behind you, starting to squeeze the buttocks so the hips are moving forward and deliberately expanding your sternum in the same direction. Taking a deeper breath in, and then again, jelly on a plate as you flop down onto your back. Let's do that once more to each side. So step your right foot down, roll over onto your right hand side, extend yourself fully, squeeze the bottom so you're moving hips and chest forward, and then flop down onto your back as you breathe out. And once more, rolling over onto your right hand side, extending yourself fully, chest forward, buttocks squeezing the hips forward, breath in, and again flopping onto the back like jelly on a plate. As you come to that position now, bending both of your knees, please do adjust yourself on the mat. There's a lot of fiddling around going on here. And lengthen your arms along the sides of your body. So once your spine is aligned, the arms are long by the sides, the palms touching the floor, your feet about hip distance apart. I noticed a habit oftentimes in classes and can relate to that. Step the feet in very close and even measure that they can touch their heels. Can you do a little bit less than that? And let that idea go that the feet need to be that close towards the buttocks. Keeping the hip distance stands, but kind of releasing some pressure from the backs of the knees by having your feet a bit further away and without reach of the fingertips. Now on the inhalation, tilt your pelvis so your spine flattens down. And on the out breath, lift your hips just lightly, only a little. Then see if you can relax your buttocks muscles and let your hips just sway from side to side, or even drawing little figure eights with the hips into the earth. So as your hips are just floating above the ground, you're kind of drawing a figure eight or giving yourself a swing very close towards your mat, and see what position of the pelvis gives you release. But trying to let go of all tension around the buttocks. Once you've completed that, gently lower your hips back down. Find the natural curve, a slight arching away with your lower back. On the breath in, then tilt your pelvis again. On the breath out, this time you might lift your hips a little bit higher. If you do need support, feel free to use a block underneath your sacrum. If you're happy here to stay, touch the palms of the hands, allow the shoulders to be grounded, and extend your fingertips in the direction of your feet. Your tailbone is lightly drawing up towards the backs of the knees as you lift to hold, feeling the weight gently upon the shoulders and maybe noticing the leg support. One more breath here. Then a long, slow inhalation, and on a slow out, but ever so slowly, really rolling the spine down onto the mat, letting your buttocks land with ease. And you might let your arms gently roll outwards now and come to a subtle sway of your knees from side to side. It's again more of a rocking of the pelvis than anything else. But you could widen that movement slightly. And if your neck feels good, you might also choose to roll the head from side to side. Then, unless anything speaks against it, center yourself and then roll onto your left-hand side. Using the hand in front of you to guide you up to a seated position, and then onto all fours. As we land on our hands and knees, as usual, the knees will be hip distance apart. And if there's any soreness in the knees today, you might use your blanket to bring underneath the knees. Hands are spread out. The grounding to the tops of the feet. Kind of looking into the elbow creases are still facing each other. And you're strong in your arms. Taking a breath in here, and on the out breath, then rounding the spine into a cat. For the in breath, lengthen the spine or lifting tail and gaze, and on the out breath, round again into your cat. Let that flow for only 2 more breaths. When you completed those 2 breaths, bringing your spine again into a neutral position, and then extending your right leg back. On the out breath now, draw your knee and nose together to round the spine. For the inhale, extend out long. On the out breath, draw your knee up towards your elbow, same side. On the in breath, extend out long. On your out breath, draw the nose and the knee together. Inhaling to lengthen. Out breath, knee to same side elbow. So repeat. Inhaling, extend. Exhale, knee to nose. Inhaling, extend. Exhale, knee to elbow. Pause. Extend your leg out towards the side and land your foot at about the height of the knee on the floor, turning your toes forward. Then an exhalation to reach the hands towards the knees as well as curl up through the spine. And while you breathe in, could you open your arms out to either side, perhaps having the palms of the hands facing upwards, and you could join back into the mudra if it feels right to touch your ring finger and your thumb together. As you reach out into the open space for an in-breath, and then lean towards the extended leg with the opposite arm coming over the head. Varigasana or gate pose, keeping your top shoulder back, grounded in the knee on the floor, the foot on the ground. The hand that is on the leg Keep that soft as you exhale to go deeper, keeping your breath flowing and top shoulder back. Then let your upper arm and shoulder roll back in, placing your hands back down to your all-four stand, pointing the toes of the right leg and circle the leg behind, then bring the knee back down underneath the hip. So we're reclaiming our all-four stand. With the next inhale, then extending your left leg back. And on the out breath, drawing your knee and nose together to round your spine. For the inhale, extending your leg and the spine, and out breath, take the knee to the same side elbow. For your in breath, extend the body. Out breath, knee to nose. Inhale, extend. Exhale, knee to same elbow. One more round as you breathe in, extend. On the exhale, draw knee to nose. The inhale to lengthen out. And the out breath, knee to the elbow, pause. Then extend your leg out directly to the side as you land your foot at the height of the knee on the floor. Toes might turn forward. And with your next exhalation, draw the hands in, start to roll up through the spine, and perhaps reopening the arms to either side, palms facing up. Perhaps again touching your thumb to your ring finger, leaving the other ones extended. A breath in here. And as you breathe out, tilt towards your extended leg. I will modify with my shoulder, but your arm could be all the way over the head, the palm of the hand facing towards the leg, the top shoulder back, as you rest here engaged. Choosing your gazing point, keeping shoulder back, support of the knee, the foot on the ground, and a sense of lightness towards the extended leg with the hand. One more breath. And then slowly starting to roll your shoulder and arm in, bringing your hands back down onto the mat, pointing out to the left toes and circling that leg behind so you can land your knees back down onto the ground. On your next out breath, then roll your spine back and extend it. A child's pose, only breathe. On the in breath, returning onto hands and knees, feel free to stay here or draw the toes under and add a downward facing dog. No matter dog or four stance, move it a little bit to how it feels best in your body. And then perhaps sliding your knees forward or walking your feet forward. Landing in a comfortable forward bend to your extent. Knees might be soft here, shoulders and head could be heavy. And on an out breath, start to uncurl your spine towards standing. Then take your feet out a little bit wider and turn to face the long side end of the mat. Your hands might rest upon your hips. Your knees are softening. And you might add a circle of your hips. We're all responding very differently to that idea of circling the hips. And don't feel limited by my demonstration. Your torso could actually come along with the hips if that feels right for you. But in both cases, whether it's just the hips circling or the whole body, the knees remain soft. Take a pause wherever you end up now and change the direction of the circle. So whether you are a big circler or a smaller circler, it is according to what feels best. And perhaps after that release in the bridge that we begin with, this movement comes a bit easier. So circling inwards and finding a pause as you relax your arms down. Keeping your slightly wider stance, if not a tad bit further apart, your toes can turn towards the corners of the mat. And with an in-breath, reaching the arms back out, same as we had in our gate pose. Palms might be facing up today. You could touch your thumb back to the ring finger on either side. The shoulders are feeling easy as you breathe in to just stand here. On your out breath, bend your right knee and reach with your left hand towards it, while the other arm might come around your back. Then push into the floor with the foot, inhaling, arms reopen. Bending your other knee, opposite hand towards it, other arm gently behind. Push into the floor, open up your arms, in breath. We'll repeat, exhale, bending the knee you're leaning towards. A breath in to straighten and open. Exhale, other side. Let's do the same once more to each side and let it flow in the pace of your own breath. Then as you complete, either choose to still continue or still continue but raise one arm behind you. Pushing into the ground again when you come to stand in your tall triangle, and then perhaps the other side the same. So see if that feels good, otherwise keep wrapping your arm behind the back. Inhaling, we're always tall and expanded, and on the out breath, you might expand or rest behind. If you feel you would like to leave your legs straight, this might be the round for it. The in-breath is the same, only the out-breath might have changed. So using your feet wisely into the ground to keep grounded and stable. Next side is the last round. And then returning back to stand, releasing the mudra as well as the arms. Take a step then to turn towards your right. So the right toes are turning to the side of the mat, and we're kind of turning the heel a lot out so that the hips are starting to turn the other way. On the in-breath, could you raise your arms? And on the out-breath, perhaps bend your right knee. Arms may remain lifted, or you could choose your hands at the heart. I suggest arms lifted, and I will demonstrate as it is comfortable for myself. As you feel the feet on the ground, draw them a little bit inwards to solidify and properly ground your warrior one. On your in-breath, straighten the front leg. On the out-breath, release your arms. Turn your back toes a bit out and expand the arms again to shoulder height on your in-breath. Micro bend in the front knee as you tilt towards Trikonasana or triangle. Your gaze could be down here or up with a light chin tuck. The back heel is still a bit out, but your toes are more open, so there's room for the pelvis. You might use the back of your hand and your inner thigh to assist the openness. Taking a bend into the front knee as you lift your arms again, then release the arms. And now turn your feet in the opposite direction. So your left toes are facing the short side in. The right heel comes out a lot, so to align the hips towards the short side end of the mat. You might then take a breath to lift the arms and an out breath to bend the left knee. As you might draw your feet in towards each other, arms could be high or resting at the heart. The gaze could be lifted or be straight forward. Again, I'm modifying for shoulder issues. Feel free to modify as you require. Pausing in a warrior one. Breath in to straighten the front leg and out to release the arm. Now turning your back toes a bit outwards and an inhale to let the arms extend to shoulder height. For the out breath, micro bend in the front knee. Come towards your triangle. Upper arm ideally extended, modification in the side of the waist. Keeping the top shoulder back and guiding your leg against the back of your hand, the back of the hand against your leg, and feeling that as an expansion of the chest and the lengthening of the spine. As you keep your gaze, taking a few breaths. Then take a bend into the front knee as you lift back up, releasing your arms and taking a few steps to end up at the short front edge of the mat. Do align your feet at hip distance and perhaps turning the palms forward. We will take a breath in from here to reach the arms up. The hands might touch and you could soften the knees to a forward bend for an out breath. Fingertips might support on floor or shins, lengthening the spine forward in breath. Then land your hands down, step your feet back, find the plank or its kneeling version. As you lift up between your shoulder blades, elbow creases here are facing as well. But then with the out breath, keep your elbows by your side as you come to land on the forehead. Tops of the feet into the ground actively, and perhaps an inhale for a light cobra. If you feel your back allows you to go deeper, please do, but keep the tops of the feet into the ground, your shoulders down and your elbows by your side as you pause here for 2 more breaths. When you inhale next, then on the out breath, release your head down. For your inhale, come up onto your hands and knees. You might draw the toes under and reach your bottom up and back for a puppy shape. Some of you might like to stay in the puppy, others might lift their knees off the floor and a downward facing dog. Knees are soft here too, tailbone is reaching up and back. Walking your feet or sliding your knees forward to the front side end of the mat, landing at hip distance. Let the upper body soften down and an out breath to uncurl the spine back to a stance. Lifting the arms up on an in-breath and resting your hands back upon the hips on the out-breath. Stepping back with the right foot, but keeping the hip distance between the feet. As you land the heel down, your toes are diagonally pointing forward. With the inhale, extend the arms, maybe your gaze. With the out breath, bend the front knee and land your hand at heart center. We're back in the warrior one. While you hold your stance in the legs now, and your feet might draw inward. On your next inhale, reach your right arm up and lower your left. Your gaze could be upwards or straight ahead of you. While your feet are unchanged, get an active reach of fingertips up and down. With your next in-breath, lengthen the front leg, left hand to the side of the waist, and as you breathe out, lower to a half forward bend. Your fingertips of the right hand could rest to a block now, or you might place the back of the hand to the outside of the leg. Keeping your spine long towards the front, ball of the front foot most active, and perhaps as you inhale, your left shoulder rolls back. Trying to keep the pelvis in that neutral position and only turning through the upper body. If this feels comfortable, and only then could you extend your left arm to the ceiling. Parivrtta Trikonasana, your revolved triangle pose. Now bend into the front knee. Let your arms swing along the side. Let the second arm extend along the side of the body and perhaps coming to the toes of the back foot. Keep the spine long, and even if you raise your back leg off the floor, the spine is reaching forward. This might be your warrior three today. The toes turn down towards the floor, the top of the head reaching forward. Landing the foot again, hip distance next to the other. As you raise your upper body, give the shoulders the light shrug and come to stand back tall. Next inhale, arms might lift. Exhaling to bring your hands back upon your hips. Taking a step back but maintaining hip distance with your left foot. While you land the heel to the ground, your toes diagonally pointing forward. And as you take your breath in, raising the arms again. On the out breath now, bend into the front knee and bring the hands to touch at heart center. As you allow that feeling in the feet of groundedness, draw them lightly toward each other. As you hold your lower body, a breath in to extend left arm up, right arm down. Perhaps lifting the gaze. As you reach actively up and down, keep that sense of groundedness in the feet that you established. Rather than tilting, keep your torso long, just stretching into the two directions. Inhaling now to straighten the front leg, bringing the right hand to the side of the waist and beginning to lean halfway forward. You could then point your left hand fingertips onto a block or place the back of the hand to the outside of the leg. The most dominant sensation at this point might be the ball of your front foot against the mat. And if it suits, you could start on your next out breath to roll your right shoulder up. Keeping the same stance so your hips are unchanged, you would notice if the left side of the hip would drop. Same option here. If your breath is smooth, you've got a sense of stability, shoulder is easy, extend your right arm towards the ceiling. As your arm from the above comes down by your side, reach the spine forward, bend your front knee. Both arms might be along the sides of the body, and you could come up onto the big toe of the back foot. Maybe some of you would like to lift that foot. In that case, please flex it. Keep a length here from the crown of the head to the heel behind you. Your arms active, the leg actively extended. Then land the foot next to the other and come to stand back tall. Shoulders might need a little wiggle or a shimmy as you land back in a mountain pose. From the mountain, a breath in to raise the arms. Softening your knees as you breathe out. Come to fold forward slowly. On the inhalation now, lengthening the spine for a half lift. On your out breath, then landing your knees down, swinging feet out to the side and coming to a seat. Now I will use a blanket. You can also use a rolled up end of your mat as a slight sitting elevation. Legs are coming out long in front, if that is right for you. And as we always do, nestle yourself in. Now take a bend into the right knee and let the knee fall out to the side. The same as we practiced in that reclined butterfly, you can support the knee here if you need to. Your foot can be all the way up towards the inner side, but it's fine anywhere against the inside of the leg. Now turn to that space between the legs. Keep your spine long, perhaps fingertips on the floor. The back of the left hand goes to the inside of the left leg, and we're drawing the toes of that foot up to the ceiling. Now use again leg against hand to turn towards the knee. Right hand might rest into the side of the waist as you keep that shoulder back, and on the out breath slide your hand down towards the left foot. Keeping both shoulders reasonably relaxed, your gaze could be upwards, or you could turn your gaze to the center, even look down towards the leg. As you take your next inhalation, and on the out breath, perhaps leaning a bit deeper. Parivrtta Janu Shirshasana. And an option here to reach the hand from the side of the waist and swing it over the head. So the palm of the hand is then facing your extended leg if you wish. More important, shoulder back and leaning sideways towards this extended leg. Let your top arm and shoulder roll inwards and let the fingertips come all the way behind. As you draw back up to a tall seat, the back of the hand might now change to the outside of the knee, and there's another twist as you use the hand against the knee. Next inhale is to turn the head forward. On the out breath, releasing the posture and both legs out long with that. I've swapped my block over to the other side. If you're using a support, bring the left knee to bend, let it roll out and bring your support back underneath. The same here, foot high up on the inner side or somewhere against the leg. Start gently turning to the space between your legs and place the back of your right hand against the inside of the right leg, where its toes are turned up to the ceiling. We'll start again with the left hand in the side of the waist, kind of facing the knee. And as you breathe out, let the hand slide down the inside of the leg towards the foot while you keep your shoulder back. Gazing point again is perfectly fine to look up, ahead of you, or down towards the leg. But make a deliberate choice of where you maintain your gazing point. The hand in the side of the waist could come all the way with the swing of the arm to face the extended leg. The top shoulder, however, is still back as you lean towards this extended leg. Breathing in. As you breathe out, let your shoulder and arm roll in. Take your fingertips in a swing behind the back. Sit up tall and then place the back of the right hand to the outside of your knee. A twist on the out breath. Keeping the straight leg long, anchoring you, grounding you. Next inhale, the head turns forward. On the out breath, releasing the twist, extending legs out, and perhaps leaving one of your blocks by the side of the mat while coming off any seated support. And if that was your blanket, put that back as an additional cushioning underneath the head. Now, from there, we will come to lie down on the back. So you can choose a leg or both to ground you down. Then landing your feet back onto the mat, aligning to a hip distance stand, arms lengthening down by the side, shoulders, arms grounded, fingertips extending to the other end of the mat. As you rest here, notice again your back against the floor. For the inhale, then flatten the spine with a pelvic tilt. On the out breath, use the buttocks muscles to raise the hips to the extent it feels good. You feel a bit stiff, let the hips soften, relax your glutes. Get another swing into the pelvis. And if it is possible, eventually coming to hold another bridge pose. Not much else to do, but keeping your arms and shoulders firmly grounded to help the posture. Perhaps the tail is drawing up towards the knees to expand a little bit further. Breathing in. On the out breath, rolling your spine back down onto the floor. Now, I will give you a few choices. If your neck and shoulders are feeling good, you might hold the position. If they don't feel that great, you might take a block, lift your hips, and place it underneath the sacrum. This is only a choice, and you can come back to the block if the movement doesn't suit as well. So from here, if you're coming with me, not on a block, extend your legs towards the ceiling, ground the hands firmly, and see if you can lift your hips. Lower them again. You might do that a few times, lifting your hips up and lowering again. This is not only a way to invert, but perhaps also to build some strength. If any of you feel equipped and my neck isn't great enough to do that today, you could hold, but your hold would also be with your arms remaining grounded rather than supporting. If you're on a block, I'm now with you. Keep your arms long by your sides as well. We might all point out our toes today and reach them towards the ceiling. It's your choice to still roll in and out of a shoulder stand, or keep it folded but held without the support of your arms. Last breath. Then either lower your pelvis back down gently or bend your knees to land your feet. And if you're with me on the block, remove the block from underneath and let your spine come back down towards the ground. Perhaps we open the arms out, and you might allow that saddle windscreen wiper movement again of your knees going side to side. You might also enjoy once more to turn the head. Let your shoulders snuggle onto the floor. Getting comfortable. From where you might then choose to come into your Shavasana or relaxation pose. If you choose a constructive rest, your feet are wide as the mat, your knees are dropping in. If you choose a full Shavasana, your legs might extend out long and the toes falling outwards, while this could be modified with cushioning or bolster underneath the knees. Your arms might as well just stay by the sides of your body as you let them rest and perhaps sound your lying position. Let your mind come to the backside of the body, noticing all those points that are resting on the ground. Start with the heavier points that you can clearly feel. And perhaps there's a sense of feeling grounded that might arise. As you could choose to just stay as you are, or might choose to reattempt the mudra by placing your thumb together with your ring finger. Even if you choose to not hold the mudra, but would like to engage in a meditation, feel free to visualize. Same applies if the mudra over the hold just drifts apart. Continue a natural flow of breath and return to the breath at any time that the mind wanders. You might feel, if you're holding the mudra, that your breath is directed lower in the body towards your base, perhaps also nourishing our intention of grounding and embodiment. You might even feel how your exhalation lengthens naturally, perhaps instilling a feeling of calm, tranquility that might allow you to rest more comfortably within your physical body. Becoming aware of your toes, feet, and ankles. Becoming fully present in this area of your body. Now focus your awareness into your lower legs and knees, sensing their contours, volume, and density. As you continue your breath, inhabit these areas completely. Allow your awareness then to rest in your thighs, becoming present to all sensations and feelings, allowing you to come home to this area of your being. For your next few breaths, bring awareness into your hips, pelvis, and buttocks, experiencing greater grounding and stability as you sense the contact of these areas with the earth beneath. Firmly grounded, direct your awareness into your abdomen, waist, and lower back, becoming more present within these areas of your being as you tune to their movement in synchrony with your rhythmic breath. For your next few breaths, direct awareness into your solar plexus and mid-back, sensing the contours, volume, and density, allowing you to fully inhabit the middle region of your body. Bringing awareness into your chest, side ribs, and upper back. Taking several breaths to experience all sensations and feelings, allowing you to naturally come home to this area of your being. Your awareness now encompasses your shoulders, arms, elbows, and hands. Taking a moment to fully become present in your upper extremities. Now fully inhabit your neck, throat, and head. Breathing to sense your enhanced awareness within these areas of your being, allowing them to soften and relax completely. Complete your journey by inhabiting all the areas of your physical being simultaneously, sensing yourself completely at home within your body. You might repeat the following 3 times after me, aloud or silently. Fully present in my physical being, I experience complete ease and harmony. Fully present in my physical being, I experience complete ease and harmony. Fully present in my physical being, I experience complete ease and harmony. Well, you might now release your mudra or hand gesture. Take a few deeper breaths to experience complete embodiment. As you deepen your breath further, you might move the body again, gently or stretchy. And in your own way that feels best, you can then come and join me in a seated position. You might roll over front or side body to get there. When completed, perhaps bringing hands together at heart center, touching thumbs ever so slightly towards the sternum. The universal sound of Om lends itself to this grounding and embodying experience. So we complete our practice today chanting the universal sound of Om 3 times, beginning with an in-breath together now. In tune with our bodies, the vibrations that went through. We're extending with a light bow toward each other. Namaste.